Perfect. All right, I'd like to welcome you. I'm Barbara up in Palo Pinto County Republican Party Chair. What am I doing? I keep hearing a feedback. All right, is that better? Okay. At this time, I would like to ask Steve Watson to give our invocation.
Almighty God, who has given us good land for our heritage, we humbly beseech thee that we may always prove ourselves a people mindful of thy favor and glad to do thy will. Bless our land with honorable industry, sound learning, and pure manners. Save us from violence, discord, and confusion, from pride and arrogancy, and from every evil way. Defend our liberties, and fashion into one united people the multitudes brought hither out of many kindreds and tongues. Endue them with the spirit of wisdom, those to whom in thy name we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace at home, and that through obedience to thy law we may show forth thy praise among the nations of the earth. In the time of prosperity fill our hearts with thankfulness. In the day of trouble, suffer not our trust in thee to fail. All of which we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. And now, if you would please, you'll have to turn. It's a very small set of flags. But if you would please join me in the first pledge to the U.S. flag and then to the Texas flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you. You may be seated. All right. Now, we need to take a roll call and determine our quorum. So, Myra, how many precinct chairs do we have? How many voting members of the County Executive Committee of the Palo Pinto County Republican Party do we have? We have 22. All right. And our quorum is 7? Yes, 6 point something? 7. Oh, okay, it's 6. All right, we have our quorum. Thank you. At this time, as county chair, I am appointing Harrison Whitaker as our parliamentarian. I think he's got his rule books, so we're good. And first up, let's see, where did my notes go? If no one objects, then I will declare this meeting open because the matters before us involve technical details of Texas election law and procedure. I am going to recognize our county clerk, Jeanette Green, and our legal counsel, Donna Garcia Davidson, to provide information for the committee. They will not be debating policy, only giving us clarity on the law and the process. Without objection, I will recognize first Jeanette Green. Are there any objections?
So I have a few copies, I don't have enough. I'm sorry. I have a few copies, I don't have enough for everybody. I know there's been a lot of discussion about hand counting, and I got with Laura Watkins, the EA for the county, and I have the latest and greatest numbers. And these equipment, I know there's been discussion about whether there has to be machines and hand counting and all that. Per federal law, there has to be an ADA accessible machine at every location. Currently, we do not have enough. The Democrats are going to be doing ballots or elections like we have been doing on all the machines. In order to do a hand counting, there has to be one electronic machine. It's ADA accessible.
Can I raise a point of order, please?
Yep.
This sounds to me like we're having a discussion about the motion.
There is no motion on the floor currently,
Right.
so that there is no debate happening. She's not debating. She's actually providing information.
It's not on the agenda. It's not relevant. There's no
Nobody
motion.
objected to her speaking whenever objections were asked for. Nobody objected. So she has the floor and is recognized by the chair.
Okay, so at the elections board meeting, the number that was originally given out was $187,000, in which the county would have to spend taxpayer money to pay that for the Republican Party to hand ballot county. The number is now $111,000, and that is due to the different equipment that has to be provided per law. The controllers and the pads and the ballot boxes. So you have to have the secured boxes to put your hand ballots in. And there has to be several at every location. And we have on hand from back when we used to do it that way, 25, and they are $160 a piece, and we would need 56 more, or 31 more, excuse me, 31 more. The voter booths, ballot boxes, the Wi-Fi, the poll pads. She has it broken down by poll sites and how many numbers for a standalone election, which is what versus the machine ballots or machine voting. The number of workers and the number of locations. There's several locations because they have to be separate. Back in the day when we first started doing elections in 2004, Laura and I, we'd have one list for the Republican voting places and one for the Democrats, and they would be separate. And so when you had somebody call and say, I want to go vote, where do I go vote at? Are you Republican or Democrat? And you direct them to wherever it is you need to go. Well, that's the same thing that they're going to have to do. There's 6 locations that can't hold both in the same location, and with doing separate elections, and that's cost, that's costly also. Like I said, I have some copies. I don't have enough for everybody, but if you would like one, I'll give them out when I can.
Can we have them now?
Yeah, I got one in my hand right now. Is there any questions?
How many of those do you have?
I have about 15 left, 10 or 15 left.
I'd like one.
That was quick. Thank you, Jeanette. Does anyone have any questions? All right. Our second speaker is Donna Garcia Davidson. I'll give you a quick background. She is board certified in legislative and campaign law. 2022, from 2016 to 2017, Donna served as the second chair of the legislative and campaign law section of the State Bar of Texas, created in 2014. Co-editor of 4 editions of the Texas election laws. Donna represents various clients, including current and former statewide candidates and office holders, state senate and house members, county, school board, and municipal candidates and office holders, national, state, and local political parties, lobbyists, associations, and political subdivisions, as well as political action committees on campaign finance compliance, government ethics, election law matters, including numerous recounts and election contents. And in 2022, Donna served as the Republican National Committee's Election Integrity Council for the state of Texas. Please help me welcome Donna Garcia Davidson.
Okay, hey y'all, do you need me to have a microphone or can y'all hear me?
We got you.
Is that much better? I just didn't want the microphone. If that's okay, that's not my style. When she said that we do the election laws handbook, how many of you have this memorized? I sure don't. Okay, so I'm here to try to help with making sure that we're in compliance with the law. The goal is always to be in compliance with the law, right? We're the Republican Party of Texas. We're the county party here. We believe in the rule of law. We want to abide by the rule of law. And until it gets changed, maybe if you want it changed, then you'll get it changed. But until it's changed, we have to abide by it, right? So that's basically what we stand for as a party. And that's no problem. Sometimes we agree with the law, sometimes we don't. I ran for judicial office. I totally get how there are some judicial activist judges who want to make decisions based on equality, diversity, and inclusion. And I ran against some of those, and unfortunately, I lost. But that's okay, because now I get to do what I really love, which is making sure everybody's vote counts. I always tell everybody I'm useless if you need a probate lawyer. I'm useless if you need a contract lawyer for your lease. But if you want to ensure that your vote counts, I really am kind of helpful with all that, because I want to make sure anybody who wins or loses on their message, not because there might be a discrepancy in things. So, how long have I been involved in the Republican Party of Texas? Can anybody guess that I'm Medicare eligible? Okay, so I've been involved since 1984 and that would make me how old then? I was only 24, that's right. So when Reagan was in office, we helped, push very conservative agendas through. We were trying to make sure that everything was done. I've worked in the legislature, and I've worked for statewide office holders as a general counsel to Rick Perry when we got, believe it or not, I'm going to go this far back. Does anybody remember 1985, when if you homeschooled, your child was considered to be truant?
Yes.
We got that fixed, didn't we? Look at how far we've come, right? Back then, we barely got parental notification passed. Look at where we are now. So sometimes it takes time. But I want to tell you that election integrity has been at the foremost of the Republican Party of Texas. I've been outside counsel to the state party off and on since 2001 until recently. Rachel Hooper's been doing an excellent job, so she was their primary counsel during the last election cycle. But I worked for everyone except, I think there was only one I didn't work for. I think it's Kathy Adams. And I think she had somebody that she worked with. And that's no problem. The goal is to have election integrity, right? Yes. How do you achieve election integrity? Is there going to be a difference of opinion as to how you achieve it? There may be. I have been involved, as Barbara said, with several recounts, election contests, and runoffs that then resulted in recounts and election contests. How many of you helped with the election recount for the state representative district several years ago? A few of y'all. Okay. What were the problems, if any, that they found in the count? Were there any problems? No. That's really good, because we have found problems in other areas. So I'd like to let you know that out of most of the election contests and recounts that I've been involved with, The hand count can sometimes be a little difficult. The electronic count, sometimes when people are quote-unquote hand counting and verifying against the electronic count, sometimes that doesn't quite come out quite right. It's not usually the machine that's a problem, it's usually human error. The audit mechanisms that the legislature has slowly been putting into play, and by 2026, there will be paper to account for every ballot cast. Now, for some of you here, you may not know this, but there were people that would cast a ballot electronically and never see a ballot. So how did you know if your vote was really reflected accurately? How would you know? I have been working with some people to try to find out what kind of shenanigans can be played with machines, right? A lot more people know how to use a pencil or a pen than know how to go into a machine and make the vote switch. But I have seen that done on tests so that I could learn what is the issue that they're looking for. So guess what we have in state law to help us figure out if any of that shenanigans is going on? Does anybody know what it is? And none of y'all can answer in the elections office. Does anybody know how you can check, how you can actually put votes in and check that the machines aren't switching every 10, aren't switching every 20, aren't switching the votes? Is there anybody that knows what that is, or have they watched it? Nobody knows? Have y'all heard of a logic and accuracy test? No. A lot of people don't know about this. You, as the public, to ensure election integrity, can go and witness the first logic and accuracy test is open to the public. You can also submit ballots so that you can try to test, is there any shenanigans going on with this? And until it tests accurately, it cannot be used. Okay, that's one way. And then what happens later? Has anybody ever been a poll watcher? How many of y'all are election workers? Okay, that's not enough, guys. We need to be on the front lines. We need to be the election workers. If you can't be an election worker, because that's a huge commitment at a very low pay, and I get that. If you can do a cycle of poll watching on behalf of a candidate, that helps an extra set of eyes to be there to support the process, to help educate if maybe somebody needs to call the elections office because you see them doing something and you're like, wait, that's not quite right. I've got the SOS handbook on election workers. You're not quite processing that voter correctly. So then Matthew 18 says if you have a problem with somebody, what do? You go to that person, right? It doesn't say you go file suit. It says you go to that person. Then after you go to that person, if you don't get resolution, what do? Do you do what? You try to go up a little bit, right? But you don't file suit yet. You try to go to the elections office. Have the elections office work you through that. And then if you don't, there's usually a hotline to either a nonprofit like the Texas Election Network, or to the Republican Party of Texas, or to your county party. The SOS has a hotline, and you can get resolution that way. Because what do you want fixed? You want it fixed right then. If you go to court, when is it going to be fixed? The election's done. It doesn't do any good, right? So, when people disagree with you, it doesn't mean that they have a different goal. They want election integrity. They may just disagree on how to achieve that. Okay? So my job here is to try to make sure that whatever ends up happening is in compliance with the law, that we're not overstepping, or that we're not trying to get the elections office to do something that they can't do by statute. Because unlike, is this being recorded?
Probably.
Yes,
Probably.
it's
Okay,
live,
then the county
actually.
that shall be unnamed that decided that 24-hour voting and drive-through voting were okay because the statute didn't say they couldn't do it, That's not the way the law works. The way the law works is when you're a created entity, you can do that which you're authorized to do. If you're not authorized to do it, guess what? Can't do it. So it's pretty simple. If it's in here, you can do it. If it's not in here, you can't do it. So one of the things that I just need to let y'all know is that with the electronic ballots, with the paper ballots, that you can do a partial manual recount, you can do audits, you can do all that. If you have hand counting and paper ballots, there is nothing that can check that. That is not considered as an auditable issue. So you're probably going to have a lot more recounts and election contests, which is fine, because most people are not trusting of a non-verified process. It's not that it's hand counting, it's just that it's not verified. It's not in the law to verify that, okay? So one of the things that can be done is you can still have the electronic ballots and scanned paper ballots, right? But you can have more that are audited because a partial manual recount is allowed. So you can do more of that to double check the machinery. If you're a watcher, you can go to the second logic and accuracy test that y'all were not aware of. But the logic and accuracy test has to pass, and it has to pass before they count ballots. And guess what? After they count the ballots, the logic and accuracy test has to pass. If it doesn't pass, then they have to do it all over again. Okay? So I wanted to let you know a little bit about the process because most people are not involved that deeply. And from what I could see, a lot of you have not had the opportunity, and I'm sure you will now, to be on the front line. Be an election worker. If you can be an election worker, that is the front line for helping to maintain election integrity. If you've got a real job, which some people don't, but some people do, and you can't do that, don't be a judge, but be a worker that can be part of the day. See if you can do part of the day and make sure that you're there watching the process. I will say again that after the election recount, that there was, I believe, I do not remember the name of her group, but does anybody know who Laura Presley is?
Yeah.
Yes? Yes? No? She has been an election integrity watchdog. I don't think she'd mind me using the word watchdog. But she's been watching across the state. And Ms. Green, did you say that she said something in particular to Laura? Because I remember Laura Presley sitting on the floor looking at the audit tapes from the election, double checking everything, and I think, what did she say about that? Because I can't remember.
I want to say that there were no discrepancies.
There were no discrepancies, and I think she used your county as a good example of how everybody was working together for election integrity. So does anybody have any, I mean, I can't answer everything, but I can look it up. I've got the book, I brought it with me. But does anybody have any questions about the process or about, I'm just for information, I'm not trying to sway, or I just want to make sure that everybody knows that we're all working towards the same goal of election integrity. There might be differences of opinion in how to achieve it, but let's make sure we're always in compliance with the law. That's the bottom line, right? Any questions? Thank y'all.
All right, at this time, I'm going to recognize our Rules Committee Chair, Harrison Whitaker.
Good evening, members. This was a meeting that was scheduled, that was requested by petition, and when requesting a special meeting by petition, it includes the agenda, those things that we can act on, and the business of this meeting. The rules for this special meeting: only business in the call is in order. That is number one, as it's printed in the agenda. Number one, require the March 26th Republican primary to be determined by hand count of secured ballots. Number 2, specify the methodology for conducting the count. Anything beyond that, including poll pads, precinct voting, committees, contracts, is out of order. That is all.
All right, next step. Turn me on.
All right, is that on? Okay. The floor is now open for presentation of a resolution. Do we have it? I think. Is this it? All right.
Thank you.
Okay, so, I was just told that I need to read the resolution in its entirety, which is fine with me. So, everybody have a copy? Okay, well then I'll read it, because then everyone knows. So,
Wait a minute, who needs a copy?
All the precinct chairs have them.
All the chairs, they all have them.
She's a precinct chair.
Mine's not in, I didn't have one.
So 13 of us precinct chairs, we came up with this resolution. So here we go. The title, Resolution Calling for Non-Electronic Voting System for the Palo Pinto County, Texas, March 2026 Republican Primary Election. Whereas we the people of Palo Pinto County, in partnership with the Executive Committee of the Republican Party of Palo Pinto County, desire to ensure accurate, transparent, and auditable elections for the March 2026 Republican primary. Whereas Palo Pinto County currently voting processes are dependent upon expensive, proprietary, overly complex black box electronic voting system that uses encrypted codes unreadable by the human eye and where the election results are unverifiable. Whereas with the use of electronic voting systems that can be hacked and that can use motherboards and circuitry that may be made in China, it is impossible for the electorate to know whether the declared winner reflects the intent of the majority of the people who legally cast their vote in the race. Whereas removing all digital poll pads, optical scanners, and automatic tabulators. Number 1, avoids equipment breakdowns. Hold on, my eyes are getting tired now. Avoids the need to require equipment tests, maintenance, upgrades, and programming, incurring those additional recurring expenses. Number 3, allows for human eyes to look at each vote on each ballot. Number 4, allows for manual counting by concerned volunteer citizens who have an interest in the in the integrity of the vote. Whereas at a moment when public trust in elections is crucial, and recent polls show that a great percentage of the population across party lines has lost faith in our elections. Note, federal elections require the ADA electronic device, just none of the other electronic devices. And the ADA, if you don't know, is for the disabled people. So, going on. Whereas the HART Intercivic Verity 2.5 voting system is approved for use through grossly inadequate certification and security procedures, creates an unnecessary security risk with unacceptable opportunities for undetectable error and nefarious activity, and is impossible to maintain or operate without support from vendors due to its proprietary complexity, requiring us to rely on a third-party entity to program the machines with no government oversight. Whereas the Republican National Committee supports the rights of counties and states that are willing and able to competently and efficiently implement voting procedures and do not require the use of machines, and those that implement hand counting procedures that are fully auditable. Whereas the Texas Constitution calls for voting systems
to promote the identification and prosecution of fraud in voting machines do not support our Constitution in this manner. Therefore, we the people of Palo Pinto County, Texas, pursuant to the Constitution of Texas and for the security and the integrity of our elections, assert our right for hand-counted paper ballots, which will increase confidence in our election results, and do hereby call for, number one, the immediate removal of all digital poll pads, optical scanners, and automated tabulators both during early voting and on election day. Number two, precinct level voting, no countywide polling place program. 3, the use of paper poll books printed for each precinct, fixed 30 days before the election period, and combination forms. Number 4, 3 copies of the combination form to be marked and when each counter comes to vote. 5, hand-marked, sequentially numbered paper ballots pre-printed on counterfeit-resistant paper, each signed by an election judge. Number 6, tabulation of ballots by hand count at the precinct level without optical scanning or any other types of programmable electronic counting devices. 7, early voting ballots shall be voted at one voting location in the county and sorted by the voter into a ballot box for their precinct. Then the early voting ballot board will hand count the ballots. 7, I think, following the Election Integrity Code, Chapter 65, or Echo 65, which they just changed the name to call it 65, hand count method procedures. And 8, verifying vote results with random hand count and robust audits, which will result in an election process that is transparent, accurate, verifiable, and holds officials and voters accountable. This resolution shall be part of the stipulations in any contract for the 2026 election services. So now,
Well, it has to be, the resolution now has to be separate.
okay, so
That's debate, so you can't speak in debate until, so the next part is.
So someone
Can I
has to
say I
second.
move to pass the resolution?
No. It's, now that you've read the resolution, it is now on the floor for a second, so.
Is there a second?
Point of order. Let the chair run the meeting, please.
All right, so I now need a second.
I second.
A second. Ken Carter.
And now the floor.
You're up.
The floor is open to debate on the resolution.
I motion to limit debate. Madam Chair, I move that the debate on this resolution be limited to no more than 2 speakers in favor and 2 speakers opposed, each allowed up to 3 minutes.
I second that motion.
We have a second. We have a motion and a second. For limited debate, this will require a 2/3 vote. All those in favor of the limitation? Aye? I need a counter. Can somebody count for?
Yeah.
Yeah, stand please. Yeah, stand in favor. Okay, it looks like we got it. Thank you.
I'm gonna just start and I'll do how many minutes do I have? 3 minutes, okay, and I won't be that long. So I'm just gonna state why we did this. 13 of us put this together. We are wanting the 2026 Republican primary to have hand-counted paper ballots, precinct voting only, and this would be for all, early voting, mail-in ballots, and election day voting. We don't want voting machines or electronic poll books. We know for a fact that the electronic poll books are hooked up to the Wi-Fi, and that doesn't make us sleep well at night. Hart is our guy, right? It's everywhere in here. Hart is the machines. And Hart himself is on record stating that all machines are hackable, except for his is just less hackable. So I don't know if everybody feels good about that, but we don't. So the problem with countywide voting is that it's very difficult to audit the election. When you have precinct-only voting, it's much easier. We want transparency.
I'm going to pan the room because it's getting heated a bit.
And we know that it is very important in securing our elections. Not to mention, as the Republican Party of Texas, number one
County
of our
election
8 priorities was securing the border.
employee there
And
that
number
just got up
2
and left
was
because
secure Texas elections.
she
So it's on
was
the,
not
it's on
happy
the
with
top of
the
agenda.
information that was
Also,
being shared.
Trump has been all over the place saying, I don't want voting machines, and I don't want mail-in ballots, and I want voter ID. He's wanting it for the midterms in 2026. We're just maybe a little ahead of him. We have a small county, we have all the volunteers that we need,
She's one of
and
the
we
leaders
invite
of
everybody that
conservative
want to do this
Republicans in
because it's
Palo
gonna
Pinto
take 200 plus. But we had 85 people stand up at our conservative meeting and said, we will help and we will recruit. So, and a lot of these people said they will donate their money back
The
to the
figure
county.
that was given
Because
today by
our
the
numbers,
county
when we
was
had an expert look
$111,000 it
into
will
the
cost the county.
cost, and it was a man that's been
The
helping with
conservatives
Dallas
stood up in
County and
county
Gillespie County.
commissioner's
His
court
numbers
on
were
Monday morning,
$30,000
said
for
their
our
numbers were
hand count. And that's,
30,000.
if people donate, because this is gonna be labor intensive, obviously. No machines, no electronic poll books. And Laura's election was $20,000 in 2024. So, and then when we went to the county commissioner's office and spoke to Judge Long, he said, well, we have a little extra money in the contingency fund if you guys need it. And not to mention, the Secretary of State's office reimburses, but it takes some time. It's not right away. So we also will be reimbursed by the county. And we, the Texas Secretary of State's office has endorsed this technique that, time. Anyway, I'll stop talking.
Employees for the county are saying that she's speaking.
Yield the floor.
They're not 2.5.
All right, now
Quite
I will
contentious
recognize Harrison Whitaker.
meeting tonight.
Members, the call for this meeting is to require the 2026 primary to be determined by hand count of secure ballots and to specify the methodology thereof. Therefore, several sections of this resolution that was introduced to the floor are out of order. Pardon? Okay. So there are several sections that are out of order according to the call of this meeting. Let's see, I got it. Starting with we the people of Palo Pinto County, in partnership with the executive committee, is out of order. The CEC speaks for itself, not the general population. With the use of electronic voting systems that can be hacked and the use of motherboard circuitry that is made in China that's speculative and inflammatory, not germane to the hand count debate. Number 3, removing all digital poll pads, optical scanners, and automated tabulators. Those cannot be removed. The CEC cannot remove certified voting machines. Precinct level voting. This is out of order. Polling locations authorities rest with the county commissioner and elections administration. Use of paper poll books printed for precincts fixed 30 days before. CEC cannot dictate poll books / ballots. That's Texas Election Code 52001, 52003. 3 copies of the combination forms that are marked when each voter comes to vote. That's procedural, managed by the elections administration. That is out of order. Hand-marked sequential numbered paper ballots, that's partial. Partially, that is out of order. The only thing that is in order in that statement is the hand counting of ballots. Tabulation of ballots by hand count at the precinct level. That's germane. Sorry. So. Early voting ballots in the EVV board will hand count. The EVV board procedure is controlled by the TEC, number 87001 and 87125. This is out of order. Following the Texas election code, that's a good one. Let's see. The next one is verifying vote results with random hand counts and robust audits. Audit authority is out of order for the CEC. It is outside of the authority of the CEC and cannot mandate. That's Texas Election Code 123 and 127. The last part, the resolution shall be part of the stipulations in any contract for the 2026 election services. The contract authority rests with the county commissioner and the election admins.
No. Harrison, you are so wrong.
Ma'am.
Objection.
Objection.
Yeah. Section 117.
Objection.
Objection. Wrong.
We'll get another chance.
Point of order would be the proper way to address the floor.
Point of order.
Point of
She's
order.
out of order.
All right. We have a point of order?
Point of order.
State your point of order.
The county executive committee, which is us, and this is section 172, shall supervise the overall conduct of the primary election.
Ma'am, like I stated in the rules for the special meeting, the agenda was set by the petition that was sent, and the petition listed 2 things that we can address and call for business and vote on in this meeting. Those 2 things are requiring the March 2026 Republican primary to be determined by hand count of secured ballots and specify the methodology for conducting the count. This meeting is limited to those 2 things, and any resolution put before the floor has to comply with those 2 things that were in the original petition for this special meeting. Those are the only things we can vote on.
So point of order. So are you saying that all of these specific
Steve, you're-
actions are not
Point of order.
methodology?
Point of order.
Order.
All right, what is your point of order?
My point of order is Steve is not a precinct chair.
That's right. No, it's not. No, we need a precinct chair to speak.
Yeah, he's not either. Yeah.
He's not either.
I've been appointed the parliamentarian,
He's appointed
He's
parliamentarian.
been, yeah, he is parliamentarian.
and I am a member. I'm a non-voting member, but I am a member.
But
Forward. So basically, then I have a point.
All right,
So basically, you're saying then that we get to vote right now, okay? I don't want any more, we have another objection, we have one more objection. Then we vote to hand count the ballots using the methodology. So those are the 2 things that are on order, is that what you're saying?
That is correct.
Okay.
that is, yes, the parliamentarian and our legal counsel, yes, that is in order.
So, all the points that he brought up, does your counsel, your legal counsel agree with every one of those points?
Oh, I don't like this. Okay. All right. So, one thing that you
This is the
cannot
attorney.
do, you cannot tell them how to run early voting. You can't. They're supposed to, the county commissioner's court, I can bring the law.
we have it. We have it. It's not in the statute.
That's
It's not in the statute.
If it's not in the statute, then it's not law.
The county
Conservatives are
election
arguing with the
administrator
lawyer.
Contract to furnish the election services requested.
That-
The election
But the election
services
services have to be in compliance with the law.
We can't hand count?
I didn't say that you couldn't hand count. I said that you can't make them not use poll books for early voting. You know why? They are required by law to have every voter that voted listed because that is part of what you have to do in
So
the elections office.
What happened when back in the day, they used paper poll books and they reported at the end of the evening?
You know, I love this when people go back history because did I tell you how old I am?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm way old, so I remember some of all that. Part of the problems that were going on with the hand counting was we were never getting quite accurate, and that's why we started with machines. That's why we then went almost all machines, and it was like, whoa, these machines are out of control. Let's make sure we have it verifiable. And then we got the verifiable, and fortunately, when we had that recount here, I can tell you that it ended up being, okay, I'm sorry, are you a precinct chair? Are you a precinct chair?
12 precinct.
Okay, So, were you a part of the, you look like you were a part of the recount. Were you a part of the recount team? No. No? Fine. Okay, I was hoping, I was gonna try to get, who was it that was on this side that was on the recount team? Anyway, the good part was that it did come out right, but we cannot, in compliance with the statute, we can't ask them to do something that they're not allowed to do. So you can contract, but you still have to contract within the legal parameters of what they're allowed to do. So we can't make them not do something.
And who's make them? Who are you talking about?
The elections office. Who are you pointing at? I'm pointing to the elections office. They are here representing Laura, representing Miss Green is here. She's the county clerk. By statute, they have to abide by the law. We can't make them contract outside the law. So I'm not saying that hand counting can't be done. I'm not saying that. Please don't misunderstand. But we can't ask them to do something that they're not authorized to do. They cannot contractually give away something that they're supposed to do by law.
The only thing is, this is not backed up by a statute. You're saying this, and I know the Secretary of State has recently said this, but this is not backed up by a statute. It's an opinion, not a statute.
All right. The law exists for us to follow, correct? They have to follow
I
the
want
law.
to see the law before I say yes, because I see a
No,
statute.
no. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait, if we cannot agree that if the law says something, that we're not supposed to abide by it. A question.
That's not what we're saying.
No, I know, but that's what it came out as. Wait.
I just read the law. I just read the law.
Just a minute. Just a minute. All I
Civility and
said,
order, please.
all I said was, if it's something that's legally required by them, like to have the poll books, so that they can ensure that there's not double voting, so that they can ensure that they publish a roster of everybody who's early voted, so that they can comply with the law, then they cannot contract not to do that.
Okay, so electronic poll books are hooked to the Wi-Fi, true or false?
That's the only way you can make sure that
Right.
nobody's double voting.
And are you a lawyer from Trump's office? I want to know.
Joey Miller just asked the attorney if she was a lawyer from Trump's office.
From you, saying, no, listen, saying, you know what, voting machines.
Wait a minute, we're out of order
No,
here.
I'm not, voting
We're out of
machines.
order.
I am going to tell you that I am a board certified lawyer. President Trump is not my client. The Republican
Right.
National Committee is not my client, but you all are.
Right.
You all are.
Well, we are Republicans, and we're going to go with what our leader says, which is hand
In
count ballots.
compliance with the law.
Yeah,
And that's
we'll see
all
about
I'm
that.
trying to make sure that you're in
We'll see
compliance
about
with.
that.
She's
Okay, y'all, I represented Travis County. Did anybody know that Travis County?
election
has a
workers
hand
are saying
count other than
13 people
themselves?
have caused all of this
How
chaos
did we do that?
and this
I
potential
negotiated
expense at the
contract
county.
To be able to do that. Okay? So if you're trying to say I'm against hand counting or I'm for hand counting, I am for being in compliance with the law. If I have to be a Trump attorney, I'm not. I don't do federal law. I only do state law. He's not gonna hire me. I don't do federal law. I do state law. I want us to be in compliance with state law. That's what we abide by. So because I'm not a Trump attorney, if that means that I'm disqualified from understanding state law, okay. But as far as I'm concerned, I have been the Republican Party of Texas's outside counsel since 2001 on redistricting, on primary issues, on a variety of issues, and I helped with several recounts and election contests. I'm going by my knowledge of the law, and that's all I can say. So my legal advice is not to try to ask the elections office to do something that's not compliant with the law. That's all I'm saying. I think everybody would agree that we want to be in compliance with the law, right? Thank you.
We've got to bring this body back into order. We are totally out of order. Okay, so next step. We will return to our debate.
Yes, the sections that are ruled out of order.
All right, what's next?
Well, that is
Right.
So the sections that are out of order need to be struck from the resolution. Since they are,
but-
Question.
That's your opinion they're out of order.
no, sir.
No, let's get the other attorney item by item and go through it.
It is
Because
not
I don't
my
want to
opinion.
hear your opinion
It is
of it.
not my opinion, sir.
It is your opinion.
It is not.
It is absolutely your opinion. You're sitting there doing
All right,
that.
you're out of order, sir. If I have to repeat this again, we'll have to ask you to leave.
My
we go.
opinion, what I'm basing it being out of order on is the call for this meeting. Please understand that this meeting was called for 2 reasons, and that's it. Anything that is outside of those 2 reasons are out of order and not compliance with the call for this meeting. And the 2 reasons, as previously stated, were to require the March 2026 Republican primary to be determined by hand count of secured ballots, and to 2, specify the methodology for conducting the count. Anything outside of those 2 things are out of order for this meeting. So it's not my opinion. It is exactly what is stated in the call for this meeting, and it is exactly what is on the agenda for this meeting.
All right, we have a point of order.
I think Tom was standing first.
I just want to state something.
That's out of order.
This is gospel.
That's out of order.
In the Gospel of Mark,
That's out of order.
3rd, verse 25, it says, "A house that is divided will fall."
I'm
And I see
sorry.
this house
That's
fall.
out of order.
Tom, you're out of order, please.
No, and let me finish this for a
No,
second.
no, you've got
It's gotta
to
stay-
come
it's
back.
gotta
This
stay on
is
there.
Emotions are high in this room.
wide open.
You're out of order, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
He said this is splitting this county wide open.
Thank you. All right, next step. All right, back into debate.
Yeah, point of order.
All right, there is a point of order.
Joey
Within the
Miller.
resolution states the methodology,
That's correct.
right?
I'm not disagreeing with that at all.
But you are disagreeing that it's,
There are several sections of this that we would be voting on that are out of order according to the call of the petition.
So are
No,
you gonna?
you're not recognized.
No, I will recognize the precinct 16 chair.
Do we need to motion each one of these, or can we motion to accept all that, motion to strike all that you've highlighted? Can we do one, or do we need to go through step by step?
Because they are out of order, the chair rules, that has to rule on the sections that are out of order for this meeting.
Okay, thank you.
point of order.
Joey Miller, the point of
Can you
order.
read the sections that you,
that we're not. So we should, in fairness, have a recount. I can count 10 votes, so we should have. So, not 9.
Yeah, that's not.
That was 10.
There was no call for division. Are you a precinct chair? Are you a precinct chair, ma'am? Yeah, I understand.
I called for division.
Very good. So if they call, we moved on, but, if they want to call for division, we can do a standing and understanding vote.
All right. If you want to call for division, we'll have another.
That is for the motion to divide the question.
It is for the motion to divide the question. Do we have a motion?
No, well,
Call for division.
they call for division, so call for the ayes.
All right, if all the ayes would stand up, please.
Divide the question.
Okay, we need someone to count.
You can't stand.
Can't stand up.
Can't stand.
Yeah, Joe. Joe, don't forget
That's
Joe.
fine, Joe.
And
You don't count the recorder.
We didn't count the reporter, counted you.
all right, we need the nays.
Just verify.
11.
Who's 11?
Oh, there you are. So 11 is 11?
It's 11-11, and I will vote aye. Thank you. The motion.
So the motion carries to divide the question. already made a ruling on all the out of order sections.
Right, there's already been a ruling made on all of the,
At this point, contracts are being negotiated for either separate primaries or joint primaries. And then whatever is consistent with the law can be presented. Hand counting is consistent with the law. The procedure for hand counting can be determined. Now it's a matter of then, if we have to do precinct by precinct, we can't necessarily enforce that for early voting because early voting falls to the elections office under the statute and the commissioner's court. However, for election day, and again, Bob Hall's bill has not gone into effect yet, so please don't think that that's going to be what's in effect for the March primaries, okay? It's gonna take a while for the early voting to be part of the one, if everybody's familiar with all that, it's gonna take a while for that to be in the law.
You are going over this resolution, correct?
Correct.
Okay, if it's a resolution that's being presented and to be considered by the body, there's no point of order on it.
Pardon?
There's no point of order. You're considering the whole resolution.
Correct.
First, you start with the be it resolved. If there's any discussion on
Whereas,
the.
yes.
No, you start with the be it resolved first. That comes first.
There is no be it
That's
resolved
the-
in this resolution.
Okay. I need to get where I am then. Because there should be a be it resolved.
There should be a lot of things.
Oh, it's therefore. It's supposed to be therefore be it resolved.
That's fine,
Okay. But that's
what we're
supposed to go
addressing,
first.
Miss Valiant, what we're addressing right now is the strikes that were ruled out of order by the chair.
Okay, that's strikes, but not point of order.
Right, that's not where we're at.
You just said a point of order on the resolution?
No, ma'am. There was no point of order
I
on the
wouldn't have
resolution.
said anything.
Special
about
Yeah.
Republican if you
Yeah,
said strike.
I did.
The proper term is strike, not point of order.
We have a SREC woman.
Out of order in it.
Yes, ma'am, there is the purpose for this meeting, let me say it one more time. The purpose of this meeting is to, one, let me just read the as it was presented to us in the petition for the special meeting. The consideration of a resolution to require the Palo Pinto County Republican 2026 March Republican primary to be determined by a hand count of secured ballots and to specify the methodology for conducting the count. Those two things are what's in order right now for this call, the call of this business. Anything else in this resolution is out of order.
So there's no resolution that you're considering?
Yes, there is Miss Miller did introduce a resolution, this resolution that's on the screen as their resolution.
And if you're accepting it as a resolution in its whole, then there's no out of order on it.
Yes, there is. After the resolution has been introduced to the body and
Then
the section.
then you're calling this meeting forward to go over this resolution.
Not this specific resolution. This could be any resolution. We could pass a completely different resolution. This is not the final resolution at all in its entirety. What I'm saying is that the sections that are only germane to the call of this meeting, which the petition was called for, those two things are the only things that are in order that can be considered in a resolution. That's what I'm saying.
Then you're not considering the resolution. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, you're either considering the resolution or you're not.
We are considering the sections that are in order.
But
we
considering
cannot
the whole resolution.
But we cannot consider a resolution that is out of order with the call of this meeting.
Point of order. It was included in the petition.
It was.
This resolution was included in my petition.
That resolution is not the agenda for this meeting. Just because it was included with the original, the initial email.
Meeting call.
That was not. You cannot include the resolution in the petition. The only thing you can include in the petition is number one, the people who are asking for a special meeting to be called. Number two, the agenda items on on the agenda that was presented by the people that presented the petition. That's it. according to the bylaws, those are the only two things that.
You're arguing about how someone summarized this.
This is what was in the call. This was in the call.
Our meeting, point of order.
I gotta go for a whirl.
Ken Carter just said cancel the vote and come back.
Second. We'll get another one.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.
So this was a procedural thing, so they just ended. Hey.
If we would have been a tie vote,
Okay.
Barbara would have been the tiebreaker.
So they realized they weren't going to get what they wanted, so that's why they pulled the procedure they did. Okay, we'll try to recap this for you guys in a little bit. I apologize for the break in the internet connection, but we will try to summarize it, and it was quite interesting, to say the least. So they adjourned their meeting. They realized they were not going to have the votes that they wanted to get the hand count to happen for the primaries this year, so they abruptly ended the meeting. And it's getting a little contentious. Ken Carter and Mr. Carter was having an issue there, and Officer Stroon, I believe that was Ken Carter, right? Yeah, precinct chair. What number? I don't know his number. I'm sorry. So once again, I apologize for the break. This was a great meeting for you guys to understand what they were trying to do. So the conservatives have requested a special meeting. They petitioned a special meeting. They were wanting to do hand counts for the primaries this year, and This was a request weeks ago, and the election administrator, Laura Watkins, went to the county commissioner's court and said, look, what they're asking for is going to cost lots of money because we haven't put it in the budget for this year. So I just wanted to make you guys aware. And in her figures at that time were about $187,000. Come back this week, actually. So the conservatives were at the courthouse this week with the commissioners and Miss Miller here and Steve Gray, so they're with the Conservative Party, who they are the one with this petition to do the hand count voting, which would make closed primaries in Palo Pinto County. So there would have to be a lot more poll workers than what there has been in the past. So the cost was assessed by them at the county commissioners meeting on Monday to have been just under $30,000, $28,000. But today, Laura Watkins, the election administrator for Palo Pinto County, she gave some figures, and let's see if I can't spin them over here and show you guys really quick. Her estimates now, after learning exactly what they want, was $111,000, and that would be on the backs of the county. So I actually texted Mr. Fryer, County Commissioner Fryer, earlier today before this meeting and gave him that figure, and they didn't sound like they were on board with that, but that's some more information we're going to have to get. But this meeting has been adjourned, and the conservatives did not accomplish what they had hoped to do, and do closed primaries for Palo Pinto County. So I'm going to presume they are going to petition another special meeting, and we'll see what's in store next. So we'll try to get some more details for you guys. Have a great day, and I apologize for the break in the internet. I really sorry.